Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
My name's James, aka SK James FPL.
Good to be back, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm now 30 years old, which is scary. But yeah, I'm dealing with it.
I know, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we've been away for a couple of weeks. Is obviously James had some birthday celebrations. There's been a couple of weddings in between. Life just got in the way, and obviously sorry that we weren't in your ears, guys. And we really appreciate the DMs, asking if we're okay. But we're back, to cover this pretty short game week just gone. And there's lots of updates about our progress and, whether we're enjoying or not enjoying Sky for some of us. So I think we just get stuck into it, James. As always, we'll cover off the game weeks, game by game, tier by tier, thanks to FF Stuff's website. We'll then go into our teams. And then we can have a little bit of a chat about, upcoming singles and stuff now that we know kind of the lay of the land is such up to probably what is FPL game week 33. I'm not sure what match day that is for Sky. But yeah, first things first, James, an absolute cracker of a game that I missed because I was in Batman. It started off with seeing the panic that Max Kilman wasn't there. Rafinha wasn't there. I suddenly had no captaincy coverage. So I panicked a little bit, made a quick plan whilst I was watching the adverts in the cinema, and managed to bring in Connor Cody. What a decision that was. Wolves 2, Leeds 3.
Yeah, a lot of pain in this game. Pain in all formats, fantasy wise, for me in this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sarr in one team with 0 points, brought Cody into the other team, 0 points. It's just not pretty. And the irony is, if Rafinha didn't have COVID and was okay, I probably would have brought Rafinha in.
Yeah,
Um,
I would have
but
captained him. He was my captain
yeah,
until
yeah,
obviously I seen that he wasn't playing, and then I moved it to Kilman. I hadn't even looked at the Wolves team, which is my fault. I just quickly changed it, and then it wasn't until I quickly had a scour on Twitter whilst the boring adverts were on in the cinema, and suddenly I see the panic and like, shit, there's no captaincy coverage. So I had a quick plan in my head, figured out that I could move Kilman off for Cody, and then it allowed another transfer at the weekend, which we'll discuss, which did pay off. So I've ended up with having Connor Cody now, and I think he's probably going to stick on my team lightly till the end of the season, unless I've got another plan now. I think Kilman's just become too much of a risk. It's the fact he's now missed out 2 games in the last 4. Obviously, we know the ongoing situation in Ukraine, and I think his mother's Ukrainian, so it can't be easy for him. But yeah, it does seem like Lager kind of wants to take him out of the limelight a little bit, and we might see this moving forward as well.
yeah. I think the return of Bolly is played a part in that as well.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. So looking at the obviously for Sky assets, Strike obviously getting himself tackle tier 2 there. Dallas, something that we became accustomed to seeing last season, hitting tackle tier. Interesting that the goals came from Rodrigo, Ayling, and Harrison. I can't imagine many people own those.
No, definitely not. Even Cock coming off the bench for tackle tier. It's what you want to see.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even noticed that. In the other one, I did actually see a couple of people punt on him, and fair play to those that did. Obviously, with transfers in hand, a couple of people went there and then moved on at the weekend. But Johnny, getting himself a goal, shot tier, and tackle tier. There's a couple of
shouting, yeah, shout and a half.
yeah.
That's fair play.
And I honestly hadn't even considered it, but that's because
No,
I think
neither
he's
had I.
he's quite short term. I can't. I don't know. Talking to Wolves fans on Twitter, it sounds like he's been incredibly impressive since he's come back. But yeah, wasn't even a consideration for me. But fair fucking play to those that captained him. I think they came away with
Yeah,
22 points.
yeah, amazing decision. Yeah, I was like, oh, shall I get Sai? Shall I get Cody? I didn't
Mm,
even consider Johnny. So
nope.
yeah, fair play to you.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on then to obviously the Saturday game, and again, captaincy
Oh,
decisions
screwed
because
again.
a lot of people, including myself, yourself, Ramsdale misses out
Yeah,
obviously through a hip injury. Leno comes into the team, and again, people had decisions to make. I ended up bringing in Saka to the team that didn't have him for the captaincy. Took it off of Coutinho and captained him, and thank fuck it did. Obviously, got himself the goal and the man of the match.
Yeah, I wish I did the same. One team already had Saka. The other team obviously had Ramsdale. I moved a defender to Matty Cash because I fancied the Villa clean sheet.
Mm.
And also he's been quite good in terms of tiers recently and also like assists.
Yep.
And in fairness to him, I watched the game and he was getting very far forward on that right hand side. Some dangerous balls in the box. I think he might have even had a shot at one point.
Yeah,
Um,
I do rate
not
him.
not on the counter, but yeah, he's such a good player. But yeah, just didn't work for him this game.
No, and obviously a lot of people potentially on the double up still of Ramsey and Coutinho. That would have been frustrating. Obviously, neither hitting any form of tier. Ramsey got himself booked. Yeah, I think it was one of those games. Gabriel just made passing, so anybody that's on him is on 9. I've got Ben White, which was a little bit disappointing you to see him miss out, but I can't complain about the 7 points there. I think he's a bit of a differential, and I just hope that he keeps ticking along.
Yeah, good decision.
And then on the Sunday, obviously we had 2 games in play. Again, there was a decision to be made prior kickoff. You didn't see the Spurs team sheet, but albeit there was the rumours that Harry Kane was going to be missing out, I didn't see anything that warranted worrying me. Stuck the armband on him, and thankfully I did. But the game beforehand was obviously the Leicester game, and again, people with transfers in hand and looking ahead to potential doubles and like single game days and stuff. I've seen a couple of people jump on the likes of Maddison and Barnes, and you've been immediately rewarded because it was Leicester 2, Brentford 1.
Yeah, fair play to those that hopped onto the Leicester assets. It's definitely paid off. Obviously, Iheanacho aside, but Maddison and Barnes, yep, credit to you, good decision. Norgard not getting one tackle, bit unusual.
That was very surprising. It's the standout stat that I saw in this game is the fact that, yeah, albeit he almost got passing tier, but not a single tackle, which is incredibly surprising.
Yep, very surprising. That's kind of been his thing this season. So yeah, strange that that didn't happen. Is there anything else you want to add on that game?
No, I think we'll come on to singles and kind of attack in some of the fixtures shortly. But yeah, let's cover off this last game and then we'll jump on and what a game it was for Spurs assets, albeit Kulusevski unfortunately let the side down, but it was Spurs 3, West Ham 1.
Yeah, brilliant return for Spurs assets. Myself, I don't have Kane in either team, but thankfully, obviously, I do have Son. So I went with the captaincy with Son in my stronger team, and I was very happy. Obviously, getting shot to a couple of goals. I'm pretty sure he got man of the match.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, very happy with that. I've also brought Højbjerg in midweek, so I was very happy to see him comfortably hit tier 2 passing,
Yeah.
95 passes, Bentancur on 91, so comfortably hit it. And I thought maybe West Ham might make it difficult for them to get that passing tier, but hit it with ease.
I think they're just tired, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they missed Bowen as well. They're a bit sort of flat up top with Antonio sort of disappointed again.
Yeah.
Obviously Kulusevski didn't do anything this game, but he's been very impressive recently.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
He looked very sharp. He was so unlucky. I think there was one. He should have at least had an assist where a Son kind of hits the strike wide. But yeah, I thought once again he was incredibly brave on the ball. Is the way that I like to describe him. He likes to attack defenders, and he does seem to be a bit of a creator. He's obviously putting chances on plates for the likes of Kane and Son. It was just unlucky this weekend, but I'm planning to hold him for now, and I'll have a review of that potential midfielder slot in the coming weeks with Leicester assets to come.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, so let's quickly touch on our own teams then, mate, and then we'll have a look at some fixtures. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, a bit disappointing for both teams, really. Pretty sure they've both fallen down quite a bit. So team 1 has gone down to 729th. That has 9 transfers remaining. I've still got Trent in my team. I've got Van Dijk, Rudiger, Silva. The points I only got 31, so and
Ooh,
22 of those were from Saka. So that
ouch.
kind of speaks volumes, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
just a bit.
Yes, it's not pretty that week for that team. Slightly better for my stronger team, but it still is fallen down. So 45 points for that team. 34 of those from Son.
Jesus.
So he's kind of really flying the flag. Hoiberg on 5. But yeah, I'm now sat at 256th in that team, and I was just outside the 100th before the previous game week. So,
Yeah.
and I'm down to 7 transfers, so I'm gonna have to be very careful with what I'm doing now.
Yeah, albeit I've noticed the average transfers has been coming down almost at that rate anyway. And obviously with the kind of players that were missing out at the weekend, I'm really interested to see the latest transfer average before the next week. Obviously, we'll probably get it. I don't know if they'll give it to us next week. They usually give it the Thursday or the Friday, but they'll definitely hopefully post it before the deadline, at least of the first game. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it probably come down to 7 or 8 anyway.
Yeah, yeah, true. Like, I kind of had like the urge to use them because there aren't that many weeks left, and a lot of my team I'm happy with anyway. So it made sense to sort of cover the captaincies. So that's what I've done.
Yeah, because there's technically what 8 match weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so if you've got roughly a transfer a week, I think you're in a decent position. For me, I've kind of slowly been making ground again. I'm annoyed with myself because some decisions early in the season basically have cost me any chance of probably targeting that top 100. But I've gone from 1400 to 700th since overhaul, so I can't really complain. I got 55 points in that team, 10 transfers left. That's down to 737. And then my second team, that's 716th. So I've been catching that one. That's got 8 transfers left, and that was on 44 points this week. So I think they're reasonably well set. I need to have a look, kind of a review of where I want to go and who I want to target, because obviously we've now got the fixtures up to, like we said at the beginning of the pod, end of game week 33 in FPL. So we kind of know the coverage to basically the end of April now. There will be more not postponements, there will be more rearrangements, as well as the fixtures that teams are trying to catch up on. So it's probably key to hold a few transfers back, particularly for it's probably game week 36. Standard game week 36 is going to be quite a big double. Probably likely to see quite a few single game days popped in there. Same with 37. So I think there'll be some targets that we might have decisions to make towards the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah, very true. That might pop a surprise one in.
Yeah, so looking ahead then, obviously we know about I think it's game week 34 in Sky, which would be game week 31 in FPL. We know about the Saturday fixtures. I think Salah probably the standout there against Watford. The Sunday there we've got Spurs, Newcastle, West Ham, Everton. I think anybody that's on Kane or Son, good decision there. Palace Arsenal was an interesting one because anybody that maybe moved off of a Ramsdale with him missing and don't have the likes of Gabriel or Saka, you've probably got a decision to make. Some people might still be on Gallagher, who knows, but that's a single. The other single in which I'm probably jumping off of Ramsdale onto Nick Pope will be Wednesday the 6th of April, because this is the point in which Burnley have got a single against Everton on Wednesday the 6th. They then obviously play
Oh,
Norwich
Norwich,
on
yeah.
that Sunday. So I think that's probably the prime opportunity, if you're going to do it, to jump onto Pope.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I was going to skip that, but then yeah, that's quite a good move to do. I've got Ramsdale in that team, and I think that'd be the move I'll be making.
Yeah, and the other key thing about that move then, James, is the fact that we look further on and at the end of April, Thursday the 21st, most of us have moved well off of Saints assets by now, unless you're still holding a Prowsey. Burnley have
Yeah,
another single against
bloody
Southampton
hell.
at home. So I think Pope is going to be very popular.
Yeah, because he's the only one you'd really want to have for the other game weeks.
Yeah,
You don't really want a defender, a midfielder, a striker.
nope.
Yeah, yeah, Pope.
Yeah,
It's,
so
it's
I
the
think
way to go.
I think Pope for me. Um, there's a few others. I think Man United, for instance, have got a single Monday the 2nd of May against Brentford. Most of us aren't on a United asset at the moment, so albeit it's quite a way away. You're talking game week 38 in Sky, beginning of May. It could be injuries and whatnot, but it's just something to consider that there are games coming up that we've got decisions to make. Um, and I'd probably warn against trying to spunk your transfers early. Try and make a plan over this international break for what we know. Um, for instance, another single that we've got coming up is the Newcastle Wolves fixture. That is one of the reasons why I brought in Cody.
Yeah,
Knowing that
same.
if Kilman missed out, I'd be irritated. People potentially are on the likes of Dubravka. They've got a decision because obviously Pope's got the single before, but if you've got Dubravka and no Wolves coverage, do you skip that or maybe move to a Gallagher because you want Dubravka against Wolves? There's some quite big decisions to be made on the basis of moves that we've kind of made in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, there is, and I'm gonna have to sit down and sort of get my pen and paper out, spreadsheet, whatever it is I want to use,
Yep.
plot it out.
I think this is the perfect time for it as well because there are some good singles coming up. There's some good weekends. Sunday the 17th is another one that stands out. It's West Ham Burnley. Most of us have moved off of West Ham by now. We'll probably own Pope, but is that the point that you want to jump into Leicester because they're away to Newcastle, and then their next fixture is away to Everton? On the Wednesday. There's only 3 days to turn around,
Mm.
so it's a gamble. One could miss out the following game, but at least you see the lineup for the first fixture. Um, and that might be a good point to maybe move off of the likes of Kulishevsky. He plays on the Saturday. You could then on the Sunday move on to a Madison or a Barnes.
Yeah, I feel like Newcastle's not as easy as what it was.
No,
Um,
definitely not.
so I wouldn't take them too lightly. I feel like West Ham, Burnley, like a West Ham player might be more appealing. But obviously, if you've got Pope, then you kind of not want to do that.
Exactly. I mean, if Bowen was fit, he'd be the standout captaincy, I think, for that
Mm.
weekend. But it sounds like he's going to be out for a while if he's got a fracture in his foot. I don't see him being fit in 3 weeks' time for that fixture. So obviously we'll have to wait on news, and if he is, a lot of people might then jump on West Ham. But I think Leicester will, given the fact that they then play on the Wednesday, so you're effectively getting two fixtures out of them in that game week. I think they're going to be popular.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, like you, James, very likely to use the next couple of weeks to kind of take stock, kind of assess where I am, put things on paper, really suss out the moves, and I might even make secondary moves just in case players don't miss out. The last thing I want to be doing is have that panic that I had on Friday with trying to work out who the fuck to bring in and what it affects. So ideally, and I mean James at Planet FPL has spoken about this before, have your transfers in mind, but maybe have something else in mind in case that transfer doesn't work out or it's not available. And yeah, that's kind of my message to you guys to end this podcast.
I think that's a great piece of advice. Because I definitely panic when when my
Same.
player isn't playing, and then you just end up bringing in Chris Wood. That's what happens.
Yeah, and then you completely regret it, and then you realise that,
Yeah,
and inevitably you're then going to be point one away from the transfer that you then wanted to make after that.
yeah.
Always the case. All right then, mate. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed coming back and talking about Sky, and it's great to see that we're both, sitting in the top 1K at least, and fingers crossed we can push on for a decent end to the season. We will be back, obviously, to cover off the next game week in a couple of weeks' time. But before that, enjoy the international break, folks. And as always, it is a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys.